Hi, welcome to Tim's Garage in association with Cowlick Flicks and proudly sponsored by Ray Tuned and New Age Auto Parts. We are so excited to be on board with those guys. Today is the big day. Today we are install our brand new turbo, replacing the stock little KO4 with this Garrett GTX3071. Pretty exciting, and this is how you do it.
Hi and welcome to the short version of this video. We're going to fly through this. What you need to do is take off anything that gets between you and the turbo. Intercoolers, heat shields, cords. Then you need to undo all the bolts around the turbo from the top to the bottom, and then all the bolts that connect to your manifold, exhaust manifold also. Once everything is undone, you can jack your car up and you're ready to go.
Exhaust manifold's all undone. I thought it was done before, but I had one extra rail that was bolted on using an 8mm socket. It's undone, turbo's off, undone, sitting there. Manifold's undone, so this is the first time we've removed from the car. This build. Manifold's off. There we go. And all of its awesome funness. And now time for the turbo. These things are heavy. And whee, and the turbo's out.
Now comes the fun bit. What we're going to do is mock up the new turbo system.
Before we install the new turbo in the car, we're going to have a look at the old turbo and take off at any pieces that we're going to need to reuse. Leaving in mind that our external wastegate is going to replace the internal wastegate, which is on this car, and the internal wastegate actuator all sort of becomes a part of this outside of the turbo. So we'll forget about the parts that connect to that. This little tool here is your actuator, your external wastegate actuator, like the boost controller solenoid, which we also have a Grimspeed one that's going to replace that.
Getting really familiar with your turbo is really important. Working out where your water lines, your oil lines are is just going to make life that much easier. You need water in, water out, oil in and oil out, and the air stuff sort of makes sense. And we're going to try and reuse as much of this as possible. So we're looking for the banjo bolts to do with our water supply, and then seeing if our oil fittings are going to translate from one to the other. This didn't always work, but we're going to use as much as we can from the stock turbo onto the new one to save some fabrication down the track.
So this is where the turbo is going to go. That's the oil feed line. Where we were talking about the banjo bolt where the oil goes into the turbo. That's the oil return line where the oil goes back into the engine once it's been through the turbo and done its job. What we're going to do is we're going to actually lower the turbo in first. I'm just going to remove one more heat shield that I forgot to remove before, just to give us more space. I'm not sure if that's going to actually fit in there with the turbo, so just to be safe we'll take that out. We're going to then lower in the turbo first, just leave it sitting low in the engine bay. Then we're going to mount our exhaust manifold. The reason being is that we're just not going to get the turbo in once the manifold's on. We'll bolt that up, bolt the turbo on, and once we've done that we're going to sort of mock up the dump pipe, and then we'll start playing with our external wastegate actuator. Oh, macho grande manifold, eh? We're now attaching our exhaust manifold, following the same process that we did to take it off, just in reverse, just putting everything back on. Ideally, in hindsight, we were recommended and told about this afterwards. The easier way to do this would have been to actually install the turbo onto that exhaust manifold and mock it all up. That would have been the best way to do it. I just want to say a massive thanks to Ray for your expertise and help in this project. It's been really valuable, and some of the info I just wouldn't have known how to do if it wasn't for your input in this project. So thanks very much, mate. Really appreciate it. Of trips to parts stores while doing this project, so make sure that you have everything you need written down before you make the trip, because there's nothing worse than getting back and realizing you need something that you've just forgotten.
Motorsport Connection was where I chose to get my fittings to do with my water and oil supply and return. These guys are highly professional, and just their head knowledge was able to make everything work first time. Okay, so we're still under the car. Feels like an entire week under here. What we've ended up doing is, you can see there the shiny black is our oil return line. That kicked our butt pretty good, but now that's in. Next, this, you can see that tie right here on this clip. Follow that, that goes back into the car, but that's our water return line. I've had to alter that, sort of fabricate out of the feed line how to make that, and we've got that on, and that is very tight, very good. If it's going to leak, it will leak from there, and if that's the case, then basically it's just, I just got to fix that hose up a bit. That's cool. With this dump pipe, comes in two pieces, which is actually really handy. We've put this section of it on, and put our O2 sensor in it already, which will just make things easier down the track. Now that it's hooked up, I just thought that'd be a pain to try and get in. Yeah, so then if we come and look on top, we have our water feed line, which is a braided line, goes from there into, you can see the dash fitting down there. This is our oil feed line. This is a dash 4 awesome feed line, and you may be able to see, yeah, down there you can see the shiny bit there. That's where I'm pointing. That's the return. So oil in, oil out was down the bottom with that big thing. Water in and water out. So that's the fluids for our turbo done, and the dump, it's half assembled. All I need to do now is put the rest of the dump on, pop on our external wastegate, and I'm going to start tidying up some of these hoses.
everything's back in the car. This is where we're up to.
Definitely neutral. Gonna keep from the clutch. Foot all the way on the accelerator. First time starting up since the turbo install. That's on purpose. Do it again. Just letting everything go through the engine. This is it. This is it. This is it. Awesome. Gonna have a quick look over here. Oh, there's some smoky stuff. There's nothing pouring out the bottom. That's okay. It's okay, we'll get some lights up here. You want to see where some of that smoke's coming from? The car's settling down. I'm expecting a bit of smoke. Coming behind the engine. That's okay. Do that. It's okay. Car works. It's a win. I'm gonna leave that run for a little while. See if we can get rid of some of that smoke. See if we can work out exactly where it's coming from, but that's alright. But the car's running and it sounds mean. Very mean. I'm a happy man. Woohoo!
Thanks guys for watching the short version of the video build. Remember, if you want to see every detail of the process that I did, also painting some parts, then click here for that link. Otherwise, thanks heaps for watching. It's quite a big job, this one. And so a part of this will be tuning, which will be in a future video series, as will some of the tweaks, because we're sure to find some weak points in the engine because we're pushing it so hard. But at the moment the car is running great. I wanted to give you the figures of the first base map. I even messed up the power run and still was in phenomenal figures. So the car is going awesomely, and you can look forward to more videos about that.